problem today is Karen has been shopping for 3 hours and 45 minutes. If it is now 1:15 p.m., what time did she start shopping? This problem deals with elapsed time, which is how much time has passed, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes, and we know our end time is 1:15 p.m. So we're going to use a number line to help us subtract the elapsed time away from our end time in order to find our start time. Before we start solving this problem, there's one piece of information that's really important to know. How many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes make up 1 hour. So, much like we would have unit cubes in base 10 blocks, if I have 10 unit cubes, I could regroup those into a tens rod. So if I had 60 minutes, I would regroup it into 1 hour. If I made a full rotation from this clock, starting at 12 o'clock, and I went all the way around to 12 o'clock again, that would be 60 minutes, which would mean 1 hour has passed. Knowing that, we can solve our problem on the number line. If I split up a clock 4 ways, just like we would with fraction circles, I would know that each quadrant is 15 minutes. This piece of information is going to help us out when we start subtracting. Another thing that's really important to notice when we're looking at this problem is PM. Have you ever heard of AM and PM before? Well, AM and PM are really interesting because a full day from start to finish is 24 hours, but we don't have 24 hours on a clock. We only have 12 minutes on a clock. In order to figure out if we're talking about before midday, which is considered noon, so whenever you have, probably around your lunchtime, we're talking about AM. So the clock will do one full rotation in AM until it hits noon. Once it hits noon, then it'll do a full rotation in PM, and then when the next day starts over, it'll go through AM again. So AM means before noon, and PM means afternoon. We're dealing with noon right here, after midday or afternoon, because we're talking about 1:15 p.m. If each skip on the number line represents 15 minutes, and we want to make it to the closest hour, we could subtract 15 minutes away from 1:15, and we would get the next hour, which would be 1 o'clock p.m. And we need to subtract 3 hours and 45 minutes. Well, I see that 4 sets of 15 make 60 minutes, or 1 full hour, and we want to subtract 3 hours. So if I did 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps on the number line, I would be taking away 1 hour, or 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. It'd be a lot easier just to take away 1 hour by doing 4 jumps. But I need to take away 3 hours. So I'm going to do 4 more jumps, take away another hour, and another 4 jumps to take away 1 more hour. So I have 1, 2, 3. I've taken away 3 hours. But my problem asked me to take away 3 hours and 45 minutes. So I've taken away 3 hours and 15 minutes. Well, I could take away another 15 minutes, and that would give me 3 hours and 30 minutes. If I took away another 15, that would be 3 hours and 45 minutes, the total elapsed time. So when I subtract all these on a number line, then I'll figure out the start time, what time Karen started shopping. Let's look back. So I said this dash right here is 1:15 p.m. and I can take away a full hour or go back an entire rotation on the clock, and I look and see on my analog clock, 12 o'clock would be the next hour. Am I talking about 12 o'clock p.m. or a.m.? Well, like I said, whenever it hits noon, after 1 full rotation, it's p.m. So I'm talking about noon right now. But when I jump 1 more hour and I go back an entire rotation again, I'm at 11. am I at 11 p.m. or a.m. this time? I'm actually at a.m. because when I'm right here, I haven't crossed the midday mark yet of noon. So that means I'm only at a.m. I'm only talking about the beginning of the day. So when I make one more jump and I do one more full rotation backwards on the clock, I'm now at 10 a.m. But I'm not done. I need to subtract another 15 minutes. If I take away 15 minutes, I'm now at 9:45. How did I figure that out? Well, if 10 a.m. would be the same as 60 minutes, right? A full rotation. So if I took away 15 minutes, I'd be at 45. What hour is before that? I'm not at 10 o'clock anymore. I'm at 9 o'clock because I haven't reached 10 o'clock yet. So I'm at 9:45, and if I take away another 15 minutes from 45 here in my jump, I'm at 30. So I am at 9:30. Karen started shopping at 9:30, and she spent 3 hours and 45 minutes total shopping, and she ended at 1:15 p.m.